I've logged over 2,000 hours cutting videos in Premiere Pro for huge YouTube channels, so I genuinely thought I knew the blueprint for a viral short. Then suddenly, everyone started raving about these new AI editors that claim they can do all the heavy lifting for you overnight. So I made a personal challenge. I would meticulously recreate the exact same viral short concept from scratch across a handful of different editors and blind test them all. The first rule was simple. Every single editor had to start with the exact same concept and a standardized script to keep the comparison totally fair and unbiased. Secondly, any tool that crashed my system more than twice during the process was immediately disqualified from the running. No exceptions allowed. Finally, I brought in a legitimate YouTube Shorts guru to blindly rate every single final output and ultimately select the one true winner. And I'll just spoil this now. My gut told me that the old reliable Premiere Pro probably wouldn't be the one taking home the top prize in this modern showdown. Kicking things off, we have Premiere Pro, which is the application most established creators still default to because, let's be honest, it's the industry standard for a reason. However, it carries a hefty price tag. I'm personally paying around $60 a month after all the taxes hit, and trying to force it to make those trendy fake text story shorts feels like trying to fit a square block into a tiny circular hole. Premiere Pro lacks any native built-in generator for creating those simulated chat conversations, forcing me to use a completely separate third-party website just to mock up all my chat screenshots. I carefully copied and pasted the entire conversation into that external site, downloaded the resulting images, and then I had the classic realization that I had exported the whole back and forth as just one single massive picture file. That catastrophic error meant I had to go back in and manually slice up every single message bubble, exporting each one as its own distinct clip for re-importing. Then came the real grind, re-keyframing every individual pop-in animation, meticulously matching the timing to the voiceover, which is exactly what makes these shorts feel punchy and engaging. After that, I sourced some generic background gameplay footage from a stock library and used a separate AI voice generator tool to handle the narration track for me. In total, I spent a frustrating 2 full hours just on setup and prep work before I could even begin the actual creative editing process on the timeline. Premiere is undeniably an insanely powerful piece of software for long-form cinematic edits and precision work. But for this specific fast-paced format, it honestly feels like trying to perform delicate surgery using a common sledgehammer. The final output quality itself was perfectly fine and professional, but when it came to speed and pure convenience, it wasn't even remotely in the same league as what I needed. If your entire workflow revolves around loving granular manual control and you have seemingly endless time to dedicate, then yes, you should probably stick with Premiere Pro. But if your actual business goal is to churn out 20 different viral shorts every single week like clockwork, then good luck trying to manage that pace using this method. Next up, I moved on to a completely different editor that is specifically built from the ground up to prioritize short-form video creation, especially the fake text style. The initial promise on paper looked absolutely fantastic, offering ready-made templates, various voice options, and structured layouts, precisely the features I was hoping for to save time. However, the stark reality of actually using it was quite messy when I tried to import my core script, as the system demanded a super specific CSV file format that I didn't have prepared. To make matters worse, simply copying and pasting the text content directly into the editor didn't work at all, forcing me to backtrack on my intended streamlined process. I tried to salvage some of that lost time by giving the editor a chance to auto-generate an entirely new story concept based on a prompt, which was a good test of its features. To its credit, the AI did manage to produce something genuinely usable right out of the gate, complete with a variety of voice choices and several different layout tweaks already applied. The interface provided me with nice options to switch between character voices on the fly and quickly tweak the overall style of each individual message bubble, which is certainly a cool capability. Yet, the massive drawback was the rendering time. Simply generating a final 56-second clip ended up taking way longer than it possibly should have, with several minutes ticking by just to produce one short. So feature-wise, the potential of this tool is absolutely promising, but the actual user experience was clunky, and several key features frustratingly didn't work correctly when I actually needed to rely on them for delivery. Overall, I wouldn't call it a fundamentally bad tool, but it's clearly one that still requires a significant amount of user experience polish before it's ready for high-volume professional work. Third on my intensive testing list was a newer product that had recently entered the market, specifically built to handle these viral, short-form pieces that dominate feeds. This editor immediately caught my eye because it offered a very enticing one-time payment structure, avoiding the dreaded monthly subscription trap altogether. Furthermore, it came bundled with an integrated library of snappy background clips that were purpose-built and designed to perfectly pair with the chat story formats we are all creating right now. It was like someone literally sat down and created a content factory, pre-stocking it with relevant gameplay clips and satisfying B-roll footage explicitly for creators using this niche style. I typed out a completely fresh script, selected a clean black iMessage theme to ensure visual consistency across the board, chose my preferred narrator voices, and then picked a vibrant, slime-ish background clip that matched the required energy perfectly. After hitting the export button, it generated the entire complex video end-to-end with surprisingly good, natural-sounding timing synchronization between the audio and the visual elements. The simple one-off fee structure makes this option incredibly appealing for creators who want to export mountains of shorts monthly without incurring recurring software expenses. The main downside I noted was that while the built-in library variety was decent enough to get started, it certainly wasn't massive, and some of those highly niche visual tweaks I sometimes need were simply missing. Despite the minor limitations, this one-off pay editor managed to get me significantly closer to my desired final look and feel faster than I ever could with the industry-standard Premiere Pro setup. Fourth in line for the gauntlet was a tool that instantly felt familiar, appearing as though it might have borrowed a little too heavily from another well-known user interface design aesthetic. Despite the somewhat questionable design origins, the core functionality of Editor D actually worked exactly as advertised, which was a pleasant surprise after the previous editor's struggles. The initial sign-up process was slightly annoying, primarily because the company ended up charging my card a few dollars more than the advertised introductory price I was expecting. Similar to Editor C, the built-in clip library within this fourth option wasn't particularly vast, limiting creative flexibility when searching for the perfect backdrop. I actually missed it at first, but this editor did possess an AI conversation generator, and when I finally located it, the tool spat out a perfectly usable script draft almost instantaneously. I genuinely liked how straightforward and simple the final export process was designed to be, requiring very few clicks to get the file ready. In terms of speed, the render times were respectable, coming in faster than some of the other specialized niche editors, but still noticeably slower than Premiere for raw, unoptimized rendering. The resulting video was solid and perfectly functional, but it had a distinct, slightly templated quality to it. You could immediately tell it was one of many outputs rather than something truly bespoke and unique. So, summarizing where we stand, Premiere gave me control, but demanded massive manual time investment. Editor B was promising but ultimately too buggy with frustrating import issues. Editor C, the one-off pay tool, proved to be very strong specifically for this chat story format, while Editor D was fast and simple but suffered from a too limited visual library. All of these tested solutions have their distinct pros and cons, but the central problem facing modern creators hasn't been fully solved by any of them yet. How do you automatically transform a long video or a huge pile of raw content into dozens of ready-to-post, optimized shorts? That is precisely where the next contender, Vizard, entered the arena. And the brief version is that Vizard is designed to automate the exact complex workflow we are currently testing here. This tool is built to ingest your long-form videos, intelligently identify the moments that have the highest statistical likelihood of performing well, package them into clips, and deliver everything you need to post: captions, correct aspect ratios, and even scheduling integration. I decided to throw the identical conversation concept at Vizard, but I framed the test differently. Instead of building the chat from scratch, I uploaded the original raw long-form footage and my voiceover track, instructing it to create the short and locate the most viral segments itself. What I absolutely did not anticipate was just how much of the tedious, repetitive grind this specific software handled for me completely automatically during the process. The first thing that truly made a tangible day-to-day difference for my output was its auto-editing feature for viral clips, which expertly identifies those high-engagement segments that viewers actually stick around for. Secondly, the built-in auto-schedule function meant I no longer had to babysit the exact posting times across different platforms, saving significant mental energy. And finally, the integrated content calendar allowed me to batch manage my entire upcoming publishing schedule efficiently within one centralized, easy-to-view location. I didn't have to aggressively push those features like a commissioned salesperson. Vizard simply felt like the intelligent, quiet assistant you desperately want when you are actively trying to scale your content production reliably. It suggested precise cut points that perfectly matched the natural conversational beats, automatically trimmed out all the distracting filler words, and expertly synced the visual pop-ins to land rhythmically with the audio cues, ensuring the chat bubbles looked perfectly timed. I could easily jump in to customize the template look, quickly swap out fonts, and tweak the message timing in mere seconds when needed for minor adjustments. Instead of spending hours on the initial cutting, constant re-exporting, and manual keyframing required by Premiere, I found myself down to just the final satisfying stage of fine-tuning and hitting the final export button. To be completely fair, some of those smaller, specialized editors had more impressive niche features, like that crazy built-in clip factory or their own unique voice filters, but Vizard's true, undeniable strength was its end-to-end orchestration of the entire process. It expertly tied the whole workflow together: the initial edit, the necessary repurposing for short form, and the final publishing step, all in one cohesive platform. The integrated scheduler meant I could define a consistent posting cadence, and then effectively forget about it, while the calendar provided a clear overview of what was going out where without opening 5 separate browser tabs for management. When you are seriously focused on building an audience from scratch, that kind of workflow-level efficiency advantage compounds its value incredibly fast week over week. I organized all 5 final videos into a shared Google Drive folder and had that YouTube Shorts professional perform. A completely blind ranking session with zero input or bias from me whatsoever. The expert watched all the submissions and gave detailed feedback just like a genuine modern viewer would, commenting on the clip pacing, the relevance of the background visuals, the cleanliness of the message bubbles, and whether it felt current or dated. His final ranking closely matched many of the instincts I had developed during my own intensive testing process over the last few weeks. The most manual, overworked version we produced, the one coming from our initial Premiere Pro setup, interestingly landed squarely in last place because it looked too chunky and obviously handmade for the fast-moving feeds today. The template-focused but visually understocked editors found themselves firmly situated in the middle tier of performance rankings, as expected. The one-off pay editor, which paired so nicely with its matching background clips, actually performed very well and secured a high position in the final tally. But the ultimate winner, the clip that edged out all the competition in the experts' blind test, was the one Vizard produced. As it perfectly nailed the modern rhythm, the clip selection felt inherently algorithm-friendly, and the entire piece looked like it was made by someone who deeply understands the current language of YouTube Shorts. So, what is the final, clear takeaway from this entire experiment? If your main focus is granular creative control, and you exclusively produce cinematic, high-fidelity edits, then Premiere Pro remains an absolutely essential tool for your arsenal. However, if your primary business objective is achieving massive scale, meaning creating dozens of optimized shorts every single week without burning out your creative energy, then tools that solve the entire pipeline become far more critical to your success. It certainly doesn't mean the other tested editors don't deserve a dedicated spot in your professional toolkit. They absolutely do for specific jobs. But for the specific task of turning that long-form content into a consistent, high-performing stream of shorts that actually resonate with viewers, Vizard completely changed my mind about what was possible with automation. If you are a creator genuinely struggling to produce more viral clips without sacrificing hours to manual cutting and keyframing, I strongly urge you to give a dedicated workflow-first tool like Vizard a serious, honest shot. It will never fully replace Premiere Pro for those intensely detailed, complex edits, but what it will do is unlock the ability to publish significantly more high-quality content, much faster than you thought possible. Moving forward, I plan to maintain a hybrid system, using Premiere for my flagship, high production pieces, and deploying Vizard specifically to aggressively scale up my short-form content pipeline. Alright, I'm officially off to actually post these 5 competing videos, and then probably spend some quiet time crying in my room for a bit because, let's face it, editing is a surprisingly intense form of emotional labor. Peace out, everyone, and happy creating!